Women don't sleep, they catnap. Always ready to spring to action with the tactics it takes to do what needs to be done. That's why they need to run for office. Because women and winning is the only option. Women are creating a concoction for success, giving the middle finger to those who try to trump them and create an uprest. Through the news cycling, Julie Brisman bicycling, to swift action, said she wasn't going to be silenced. They tried to take her down, giving the worst news on Halloween no joke. Yet she took her anger and frustrations and channeled it into hope. Now, she's loud and supervisor, so why even try her? She took her experiences, love of the people, and seeing 45 as a toxin, to now ringing the alarm and being one of the many running the charge that winning is the only option. See, badass women are not emotional. No, we mad. And those are not tears. Those are the moist droplets to send out hundreds and thousands of postcards through volunteers. Because we refuse to do another 4 years. Because we know it's at stake. The ERA, a governor that sees blackface as a talking point. The disparities of the North and South and East and West Virginia. We need a strong, resilient community to go to the ends of the earth. Because women, we know what's in ya. And we're not talking about sugar and spice and everything nice. No. You have the bronze, the balls, the brains to run campaigns. To have less losses and more gains. Because winning is the only option. And we're the missing voice. It is time to be heard. We need those in power to listen to our unwavering words. And our women leader said, get ready to set the trail on fire, to be the phoenix that will rise. Remember Auntie Maxine said, we're reclaiming our time. And our grassroots activists have not been playing fair in the sandbox. And this should make you smile. They have been galvanizing and organizing while those politicians, the kids, have been running wild. And we've had our losses, which is still a win. Because Virginia was turned blue, and it was all because of you. The Barb Joneses, the moms demanding action, the rural roasters who are about getting things done, and you can't stop them. Because they know winning is the only option. So now's the time to catalyze and strategize about the true power access. We have much to lose, so we can't settle for less. No more Eliza Doolittle, being the fair lady told who and what and how to act and speak. Women, put on your armor of wit, discernment, and stand to your feet. We only have one choice, and that is it. We have to be the ones who care. We have to be the ones that make it fair. We have to be the ones to rewrite the narrative because we're the ones that waited for permission, so let that be your declarative. We have to be the relentless ones to tell others to vote because we're the ones, women, who thrive off of more than just hope. We are the ones that talk about saying, you can't stop them because we know that winning is the only option.
Hello, friends. I so sincerely wish that we could be meeting in person as we have in years past, but it's nonetheless so great to be with you virtually as we kick off the Women's Summit. And I first wanted to send my good thoughts and well wishes for your family as we work our way through this unprecedented and tough, challenging times. Thank you for all that you're doing to contain the spread and flatten the curve of COVID-19. What a year it's been since we all met last summer and I spoke. And last year I asked you all, please knock on doors and make phone calls and send postcards. And in return, I promised you that we would bring swift, bold, decisive change to the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'm so proud to say, because of your hard work, because of your dedication, our new House and Senate majorities led by the first woman speaker, first woman majority leader, the first woman, female Senate president, we've delivered and we turned those promises into action. So we finally cleared the way, I think it was 20-year Republican bottleneck on progress in the Commonwealth. So I'm excited because I feel like we have now shown the entire country that Democrats and Democratic women know how to govern. And you know what? Not only govern, but we also get results. So thank you to so many longtime friends here at the Women's Summit. Thank you for making these victories possible. Thank you for all your hard work. And we know that change starts at the grassroots, and you are the change. So thank you. Let's keep the momentum going.
Virginia Flipping Blue in 2019 showed the rest of the country what can happen when we elect people who care about a just and generous government.
I want to tell you what Flipping Virginia Blue in 2019 meant to me. It meant we finally had champions for sensible gun violence prevention.
Flipping Virginia Blue last year was so fun. We wrote nearly 40,000 postcards all over Virginia, we being like 300 friends working from a coffee shop, and it was just very satisfying.
First, the culmination of so many years' work by so many people, so many fantastic volunteers, great staffers, all of us really working together as teams to knock on so many doors, reach far more people in our wonderful Commonwealth than we've ever reached before, and I'm really excited with all of the gains we've made. For me personally, it means that I finally have a Democrat representing me in Richmond, which is very exciting.
In late March, I saw broadband cable being laid in our neighborhood, and I knew it was a direct result of Flipping Virginia Blue in 2019. Being a part of accomplishing that for all the voters that I spoke to during my campaign for Senate meant everything for me, because their number one request was broadband access. And who knew that only a few months later we would be in a pandemic where having access to the internet would be sometimes the difference between life or death.
In 2019, when I promised to work on regulating health insurance companies and Dominion, improving access to the ballot box, and protecting LGBTQ citizens, someone must have heard me. Wow! I've been told that even though I lost, my running helped others win, so you're welcome.
I finally got to breathe a sigh of relief, a little sigh, because hardworking people who were subjected to substandard wages might finally get some increase. People who were terrorized by gun violence might finally have a voice in Richmond. And Dominion's long fight against clean, renewable energy might just get a little tougher for them.
Here at the local level, we elected a school board with a majority that would support and include LGBTQ people in policies, but also in curriculum.
We finally got to do right by workers and raise the minimum wage. It meant that we finally got to do right by voters and take away some of these strict voter restrictions, make voting a state holiday, and make it easier for everyone.
The other thing that it means so much to me about winning in 2019 is the chance that we had to put the Green New Deal and the repeal of right to work on the table.
Virginia expanded Medicaid, providing hundreds and thousands of Virginians access to health care. Now more than ever, we recognize and see the importance of having health care be a necessity to all, not a privilege to some. We passed the Virginia Values Act because Virginia is for lovers, and we have no room for hate in our state. And this year, we finally ratified the Equal Rights Amendment.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing to hear from all the activist voices. And our speakers set it up so well, and they just talk with such passion, the women and men that flip Virginia Blue. But right now, what I'm going to start talking about is the experience. After all, that's what everybody kept saying to me. Well, what is the experience? Well, it's a different way to summit. But every new thing needs a friend to help you through that. And I have one of the best ones on my team, Krista Jones from Vote Lead Impact. Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, great. I'm so glad you'll be with me because I'm a little nervous. There's so many days and so many things to say and so much work we've put into it.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, the speakers we're bringing on.
Just amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. We didn't have to, you know, yank anybody's arm behind them to join us. They really wanted to come on board this year. So we're so exciting. But what we wanted to do is create an amazing feeling, experience that we can join together, build community, and just get really engaged and activated, because we got to do everything to win, because winning is
the only option.
Freaking the only option. So we brought somebody on board to partner with us to create an amazing training, a leadership boot camp called Owning Chaos. And right now, we have to own it. It's out there. So this is going to be a great opportunity. So the Impact Center for Sam Russell and his team is going to be designing a great 2-part leadership boot camp. So Sam is here to talk about it. So welcome, Sam Russell. We cannot wait to hear about it.
Next, the ongoing coronavirus threat, the death toll in the U.S. now officially topping 110,000.
But it's also an economic crisis, and today is the first of the month, and that means bills are often due.
As the nation tackles multiple emergencies, it appears likely we're about to confront another, a very busy hurricane season.
Chaos isn't random. In fact, it's explained through chaos theory, which states that within the apparent randomness of chaotic complex systems, there are underlying patterns, interconnectedness, constant feedback loops, and self-organization. Chaos theory, a deterministic model where one change can spark self-organizing. And so you did. Organizing for families being torn apart, coming together to say enough is enough when keeping our families safe, demanding social justice allies be lifted up as we battle for equality and to protect our planet, and self-organizing to send a clear message that when our politicians weren't representing us, we knocked more doors, made more calls, donated more money, and orchestrated a new chapter in Virginia history. The chaos ushers in clarity. Clarity sometimes weighs on us hard.
So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood, how can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything.
Other times, it lifts us up when we need it most.
That's right. Daddy changed the world. Wait, we don't. He did what? Daddy changed the world.
George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, Gianna, already knows the impact her dad has had on the world.
But organizing is demanding. This work takes its toll, and with the lows filled with anxiety and exhaustion, come the highs and the chaos that brings us together. Lifelong friendships and bold new coalitions forged, ready to tell chaos, we own you. Organizing with grit, claiming every inch of new ground, we will do so keeping these 3 principles in mind. Number 1, fight, ignore, engage. There are few bullies that we must fight, as we won't be trampled on. Then there are a few more voices just looking for attention, which we need to ignore. But the vast majority of our friends and neighbors must be engaged. The wisdom comes in understanding these 3 groups.
How we explain that when someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
Number 2, act, not react. The world must feel what we stand for, not simply a reaction to the craziness of a tweet or the next headline. While we may not be sure how we got here, the arc of history is bending towards justice, and we must have faith in how we define our future. Number 3, radically empathize. Soon you will hear from singer and social justice advocate Chris Matthews, who will shine her anthem, the battle hymn for an army of lovers. a fitting tribute to the need to channel our own vulnerabilities in appreciating the many paths we all travel. To empathize is not to agree, but to have the courage to look someone in the eyes and feel their journey. This week's experience is about becoming that army. In our session, Owning Chaos, and the many other sessions in the coming days, we will find that even virtually, there is a force to be reckoned with. This he for she is humbled to serve you, but my real drive are my two daughters who told me God is a woman, and I'm not dumb enough to argue with them. I can't wait for my two daughters to join you soon as we own this chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Chris Matthews.
Hello, all you activists and change makers. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Matthews, a social justice singer-songwriter who calls the DC area home. I wanted to stop by and sing my song, Battle Hymn for an Army of Lovers, for all of you as you kick off this year's Women's Summit. This song is inspired by 6 people, including 4 pretty incredible women. 5 if you count the way Eva Cassidy sings Curtis Mayfield's People Get Ready, which I do. Michelle Obama, poet, abolitionist, and suffragette Julia Ward Howe, author Rita Mae Brown, and my mom. After the 2016 election, for me as a Black Butch-identified lesbian woman who was at that time in an interracial marriage living in Virginia, as you might imagine, the election was a little bit tough, a little triggering, a little hard to swallow. And I just didn't feel like myself. And I didn't really know what to do about that until I called my mom. And she said to me, picture me as a little Black girl growing up in southeastern North Carolina in 1953. And every president that I have lived through, and I am still here, you will be fine. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I went and wrote this song. And so I hope this gives you some encouragement and some inspiration. This is Battle Hymn for an Army of Lovers. Change is coming once again, except this time it feels like the world's about to end. White roam the devils in plain sight, angry protests in the streets night after night, and it weighs heavy on my mind. Why are we so quick to run backwards after all this time? But I won't let it change my heart. I was born full of love and hope, and when I die, that's how I'll depart. And when you find yourself incapable of seeing eye to eye, remember when they go low, we go high. Change is coming, that's for sure. We gave a madman all the keys and let him walk right in the door. And I don't think he'll see the light until the whole world is on fire. But that's alright, that's alright. We will still be here when he's gone. And if he doesn't kill us all, well, it sure will make us strong. So don't let 4 years change your heart. We were not born hating each other. Now is not the time, not the time to start. And when you find yourself incapable of seeing eye to eye, remember when they go low, we go high. There's a song meant for soldiers. It says, let us live to make America free. We're all sisters, we're all brothers, standing on each other's shoulders. There's no wall we cannot scale. We are an army of lovers, and we shall not fail. So when you find yourself incapable of seeing eye to eye, remember when they go low, we go high, 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 high. People get ready. I said
People get ready, yeah.
I want to leave you with one last thought. So much of that song is centered around the notion that hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. This song is a call to arms for the army of lovers. As Dr. King said of his army, there is no examination, no pledge, except that as a soldier in the armies of violence is expected to inspect his carbine and keep it clean, non-violent soldiers are called upon to examine and burnish their greatest weapons, their heart, their conscience, their courage, and their sense of justice. To that I want to add, now is the time for a revolutionary love, a love so profound that it bankrupts organizations that would put its profits before the safety of our children and our citizens. A love so profound that it builds bridges to unite us instead of walls to divide us. And a love so profound that it changes hearts instead of minds. Thank you all so much for the amazing work that you're doing. Have a fantastic summit. I will see you on the other side of this. Keep fighting the good fight.
People get ready, people get ready, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Krista, wasn't that just amazing segment? Thank you, Chris Matthews, for that wonderful, perfect setup for the next opening segment, our whole journey going through the experience, day by day. We'll take you to the letter E all the way to the end of the 10 days and ending at another letter E. We want to show you what the experience looks like and feels like, is designed to keep you in the fight.
The letter E in experience is for energizing. We will kick off the first day of the experience tomorrow evening with a conversation with badass women organizers, elected officials like Congresswoman Jennifer Wexton and from Loudoun County, and we'll also be joined by badass organizers from Loudoun County, Maine, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. These women are change makers. This session will energize and engage you as you listen to their stories and learn how we will work together to win in 2020.
So get on your feminist lens to see what revolutionary women are doing to make change, create change, and get out the vote all across the country.
We did win big in Virginia by flipping it blue. So get ready for Monday, where the Virginia Grassroots Coalition will host back-to-back sessions to unpack the legislative year, followed by an in-depth discussion on climate and energy. We will learn what passed, what didn't, and what we still need to do for the upcoming year.
The letter X marks the spot for the 10 issues outlined in our Women's Summit Declaration from last year's summit. And this session will be exciting and an energy-focused session for activists who love and care about the issues that drive us to action.
Hi, I'm Julie Jakopic, chair of Virginia's List, and I'm so delighted to be here again with the Women's Summit. In 2017, Virginia's List helped double the number of women serving in the House, and in 2019, we helped build on that legacy and take back the House and increase our numbers in the Senate. In doing so, we made sure that we have our very first in 400 years woman speaker and our first woman majority leader, and it is my delight to speak with both of them and give them a chance to talk about the first year of their leadership. I'd love to hear what you're most proud of in this first session.
So I'm going to cheat and have two things. First, I think it's just first that happened in Virginia, two women leading that chamber, and first woman speaker, first woman majority leader. We showed the nation, and not only Virginia, but the nation, what women in leadership looks like. And how much can get done in an organized manner and on time. And I'm very proud of that fact. And I think that the thing I thought was the biggest accomplishment for me was actually all of our voting rights reform that we have got passed, from no excuse absentee voting, which I was proud to carry, as well as, making Election Day a holiday. It's my firm belief that voters' access to the ballot box, determines how our democracy looks, what type of policies that we can get passed, and having that ability to have such significant voting rights reform in Virginia I think it's going to make a difference for generations to come. And it was so good to see.
So we finally cleared the way, I think it was 20-year Republican bottleneck on progress in the Commonwealth. So I'm excited because I feel like we have now shown the entire country that Democrats and Democratic women know how to govern. And you know what? Not only govern, but we also get results. One thing I kept thinking is, how are things going to, work out as we're on the floor and you hear, people standing up and making comments or, working against you with the goal of really derailing things. And yet I was confident because I knew Charnel and I worked so well together, such good friends. We had each other's back, always working together. And so that was great. But I think at times, and maybe our leader would agree too, I had to take a step back and realize it really doesn't matter what they say, how they act, how they behave, because the bottom line is, in addition to each other, I had the gavel, we had the votes, we had the most amazing, caucus possible with, again, capable, competent, diverse folks that were going to stand up for what was right. So in the end, we were going to be okay, and things were going to go in our direction. So it didn't matter what the other side did, or the games that they played, or the tricks or the maneuvers.
I agree with the speaker. It was again, and I'll just be honest and frank. I don't know if you want me, but
that was the point.
I think honestly, there were some people who certainly would love to see the two women at the top fail. And what I appreciate about our relationship is we are not going to let that happen. We're a solid team, and I think that it's something that I think is a lesson for a lot of people about women in leadership, is that our goal is to get the job done, and we're going to do it, and we're going to support each other. And that's what it is. So deal.
Whether I think about,
we've always had that great relationship, right. And we always have each other's back, and we're good friends.
It's funny, I think about the work we do with Virginia's List, or that I do with women leaders, and I'm pretty convinced this idea that women are not collaborative leaders is a myth perpetrated by people who want women to attack each other, because that's not my experience of what happens when women, we, all of us, the two of you, are really good collaborators. And as I look around the world right now in the middle of the COVID situation, the countries that are dealing well with this, interesting, they're all led by women.
I think it's all about communication, collaboration, and respect. And we have that. And, I think, again, we showed not just the Commonwealth, but the entire country that Democrats keep their promises, and Democrats know how to govern, and Democrats get results.
Democrats get results, especially when women are leading.
Hi, Women's Summit. This is Delegate Hala Ayala from the 51st District. I want to say thank you. Thank you for your countless hours of service and time and energy that you devoted to our campaigns.
For every single one of us in office, so many of you worked hard to make sure we got here. Whether it was encouraging us to step up and run, knocking on doors together, holding parties at your house, or getting out the vote.
And I want to thank you for all you have done in 2017, 2018, and 2019 to bring the blue wave here in Virginia.
It's the power and the energy and the enthusiasm of grassroots activists just like you. It's responsible for our big victories in the Virginia legislature.
Thank you to all the grassroots activists who helped elect me and so many others.
And especially for electing an entirely Democratic school board for the first time ever. We could not have done it without you, and for that, I thank you.
Thanks to you, our party and our policies have become more progressive, more inclusive, and more diverse.
To all of you who worked so hard to flip Virginia blue in 2019, thank you. Your passion, your effort made all the difference.
You made the impossible very possible.
Thank you to all of the grassroots activists who have made all of this possible.
Thank you for everything that you did in the 2019 election.
Thank you, fellow Democrats.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you for helping us flip the General Assembly.
Thank you to all the activists who helped turn Virginia blue.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you for what you've done, and thank you for what you keep doing for us as we continue to move forward on women's rights in Virginia.
Thank you for all you've done, and thank you in advance for what I know you're going to continue to do.
November is coming, and the mother of all blue waves is on its way. And thanks to the work you're doing, we will deliver another blue Virginia.
Thank you for inspiring me to run for office. Thank you for changing Virginia for the better, especially for those on the margins. And thanks for giving me the courage to stand up to the bully in chief just a little under a year ago.
Thank you for helping us move Virginia forward.
Thank you to all the grassroots advocates in Virginia and for all our Women's Summit organizers for the amazing work you did. We passed the Equal Rights Amendment, we passed so much amazing legislation, and you're paving the way for future leaders like Maya. So thank you for all that you do.
The letter P puts the spotlight on politics and policy. On Tuesday, June 23rd, we'll be zeroing in on a 4-letter word, vote. It's all about getting out the vote this year, because when we vote,
we win. So join us for a power lunch noon hour with some amazing powerhouse women. We'll be chatting it up with Nara Tandem, President, Center of American Progress, along with political director and co-founder of Sister District, Gabby Goldstein, to talk about how we will get out the vote across the states in the time of COVID. This administration will play dirty. So let's get on our masks and rub some hand sanitizer on our hands to clean it up and win.
E is for elucidate and the economy. Wednesday features a power lunch at noon where we will get down and dirty with political analyst Rachel Bitkofer on the political landscape in the 2020 races, followed by an in-depth Senate forecast from Ashley Blue of Swing Left.
Did you say down and dirty? I am in.
Catherine. Then Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., we will get personal with a frontline conversation hosted by the Women's Summit top sponsor, the Virginia Campaign for a Family-Friendly Economy. Take it away to Senator Boysko to tell us more.
Hi, everybody. I'm Senator Jennifer Boysko, and I want to welcome you to the 4th Annual Women's Summit of Virginia. I've been working closely with the Campaign for a Family-Friendly Economy to work on passing paid family and medical leave here in Virginia for a number of years. The Campaign for a Family-Friendly Economy has been a proud sponsor of the Women's Summit since it was founded in 2017. And together we've been working to pass this important legislation. I hope that you're going to join us for our panel on June 24th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., where we are going to talk about the path to passing this important legislation. The coronavirus has shown us what many people around the world already know, that it's important to have comprehensive paid family leave programs to protect ourselves, our family members, and our community. In the COVID-19, we know more than ever how important this policy is. I hope that you will join us for the panel because you all are the strongest progressives and you're going to help us lead the way to getting this important policy. Thanks for all you do. Bye-bye.
Wow, how lucky we are to have Senator Jennifer Boysko advocating for economic dignity for all families across Virginia. And yes, thank you to our sponsor, Virginia Campaign for a Family-Friendly Economy. Now, next up is another powerhouse woman who dreams big and fights hard for economic dignity and equality. Please, let's welcome Elizabeth Warren into the room. All right.
Hello, Virginia Women's Summit. I sure wish that we could be together in person to celebrate your courage and your advocacy, but that's just not possible right now. Even so, I wanted to join today's live stream to say thank you. Over the past few years, Network Nova has been fighting tirelessly to build a better Virginia. You've organized, made phone calls, knocked on doors to flip Virginia blue. And after you elected new leaders who promised to prioritize progressive policies, you held them accountable. You were there every step along the way to make sure during the legislative session that they passed policies like the Equal Rights Amendment, rollbacks on unnecessary restrictions on reproductive health care, and gun safety legislation. Yes, your work proves what I have always known. You don't get what you don't fight for. And make no mistake, we are in the fight of our lives. This pandemic has made clear that in times of crisis,
State and local officials are the frontline defense for our communities. So now more than ever, we need more leaders, more voices, and more people fighting for a government that works for everyone. And at a time when marginalized communities are being disproportionately affected by COVID-19, we need more diverse voices in office, making decisions that affect their communities. None of this will be possible if we don't protect our elections. Elections are the beating heart of our democracy. If Americans are forced to choose between voting or staying safe from the virus, democracy as we know it will be lost. So here are 4 steps I'm fighting for right now to make it easier for Americans to vote safely during this pandemic. Step 1, every American should be able to register to vote safely and easily. And that means ending voter purges for the duration of the pandemic and requiring all states to offer online registration. This pandemic must not be used as a cover for racist voter purges. Step 2, keep voters healthy by making the process of casting a ballot easier and more accessible. Everyone should have the option to vote by mail. And we also need to enhance the safety of in-person voting by providing 30 days of early voting and extending polling hours. Step 3, fight disinformation and increase election security. Russia and China have already begun to peddle conspiracies that we need to fight back. And step 4, give states the resources they need to administer the vote and keep poll workers safe. Protecting elections will not take millions of dollars, it will take billions of dollars. And the task of protecting our democracy has never been more vital. This is a fight that comes to us, and we cannot afford to back down. Lives are on the line. State and local elections are going to be critical to our response to this crisis. So, if you're thinking about running, don't let this crisis deter you. We need you in this fight. And if you're not running, support someone who is. Volunteer your digital skills with a candidate who's had to go 100% remote. Pitch in $5. Staying safe does not mean staying silent. We face an uphill battle, but I am confident that if we stand together, if we fight together, if we persist together, then we will make it through this time of crisis and we will build a better, stronger America. Thank you.
On Thursday, June 25th, the letter R in experience is for getting real with some R&R as we focus on race and rural issues. Here to set up the discussion is Delegate Charnel Herring. Her powerful words say it all.
I just want all of us to sort of reflect about the events that happened this spring. From Central Park to a young woman who was killed in her home in Kentucky, to Black men who are killed at the hands of those who are to be keepers of our Constitution. Unfortunately, this has affected not only adults, but children whose innocence have now been lost. My niece, unfortunately, watched the footage, and maybe it's unfortunate because she saw what can happen when we are not ensuring that there is racial harmony in this country. I think the senses of our youth have been awakened by what has happened. And that's why I say over and over that we always have to be vigilant when it comes to race. We always have to be aware and be woke. And if you're not woke now, it is time for you to wake up. This is our country. This is someplace that we all love and we all cherish. People are rioting not because they like to destroy, but because they feel unheard. Martin Luther King said, Rioting is sometimes the speech of those who are unheard. I pray that the rioting stops. And I pray that all of us, each and every one of us, remember how we feel. And when we're hopefully able to get back to what normal is, whatever that may be, that we will not forget how we felt when we see footage of police brutality. Not only is it harmful to communities, it is harmful to those law enforcement officers out there who do good every day, that put their lives at risk, and that's not good. So at this time, I just ask us to reflect, be vigilant, fight for good laws, fight for criminal justice reform, where people often feel repressed. And that does not mean that we do not respect victims' rights, but it means we want a more just criminal justice system. So thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak my heart and my mind.
Wow, that was so moving. It's time to get real. So I hope you will join me as I lead a timely discussion with amazing leaders advocating for communities of color on how systemic racism has led to inequity in healthcare, education, employment. We need to break the system of oppression.
You said it, sister. The next in the evening, we'll start with another letter R for another important issue, rural voices. It's time to listen to the rural candidates, leaders, and advocates who are sounding the warning bell that Democratic leaders need to do more or risk losing their vote and participation forever. Don't take my word for it. Let's hear from former candidate Jennifer Woofter in House District 22.
When I ran for the House of Delegates last year, it was the first time in 6 years, and only the second time in 19 years, that a Democrat had challenged our long-term Republican incumbent. I knew from the beginning that the odds were slim that I could win, but I also knew that voters deserved a choice at the ballot box, and that it was important to stand up and fight for issues that matter. We had been ignored for too long and taken for granted. The campaign was brutal, and let me tell you, the hard part wasn't fighting the Republicans. It was fighting my fellow Democrats. From a local leader who told me don't waste your time, it's not winnable, to the House caucus and DPVA who dumped millions of dollars into other races, but declined to invest even a couple $100 in our campaign to help get out the vote. The greatest challenge in my campaign and other rural campaigns was apathy and a sense that we were a lost cause and not worth fighting for. You guys, in 2020, we have to change that narrative. If we want to win, to really win, we need to be investing in races all over the Commonwealth with dedicated funding to rural campaigns and committees. We need to acknowledge that a win might not come in year 1 or even year 5, but without investing, we're never going to move the needle. It also means making sure that rural voices have a seat at the table before legislation is introduced that reinforces a belief that Democrats are out to take your guns or care more about pipelines than they do about farmers. It means educating ourselves and our friends about rural issues and actively checking the impulse by some in our circle to think about rural Virginians as second-class citizens. The question, what did winning mean in 2019? I will tell you, for rural candidates, the experience left a bitter taste in our mouths and a real question. Are Democrats fighting for everyone in Virginia? Are we willing to fight even when we can't win this time around? And will we ever win if we don't put up a real fight?
Well, it sure has been a long week, so everybody likes to look forward to Friday. And boy, do we have fun planned for you. The letter I is for ignite and inspire. So girlfriend, get your cocktail in hand and join us for a 5 o'clock happy hour with cocktails and conversations featuring all 7 women from the Virginia Senate. Oh, and let's get our cocktail on, don't you think? Let's have a little toast. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Let's taste. How does yours taste? Mine's delicious.
Amazing.
Mine's called the Mansplainer, and you're going to find out why, what the recipe is. What do you think, Krista?
Sounds awesome. Let's find out.
Well, delicious. So now that we're inspired, we'll get ready for happy hour, and you won't want to miss this inside scoop on what it is like to run for office, win, and still face some mansplaining. That's why you need this. And blatant sexism. So serious, but we're going to get down and dirty and talk about that too. So we hope you join us. How about a toast again? 1, 2, 3.
The letter E brings us to empowerment. Saturday will be all about empowering community, hosted by the amazing, fun, and creative women of Rowan Tree, a women co-working space in Herndon, Virginia.
And we're going to need some coffee on Saturday after that Friday happy hour. Going to be a little crunchy. And yes, we will. This session starts at noon. That gives you time to sleep in, have your coffee, get ready to meet Amy and Kate, best friends and co-founders of Rowan Tree and our summit partner, for an enlightening conversation on BFFs and unlikely partners.
Yes, thank you to Rowan Tree and all of our partners. Building community is a skill women excel at, and it's what makes us stronger.
Sure does. Look at me, strong. You're pretty strong too. Let me see your muscles. Okay. Get your coffee. We'll see you Saturday.
N is for networking and going national. Join us on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for a big discussion on moving the ERA forward. Attorney General Mark Herring and Deputy Solicitor General Michelle Callan, hosted by tireless advocates for equality from the National Women's Political Caucus.
Hey, Krista, what do we want?
Equality.
And when do we want it?
Now.
Yep, so you better get out of our way. We aren't stopping till we are in the Constitution. ERA, ERA, ERA.
Daughters and sisters, mothers and wives, every woman in every walk of life.
No ceiling can stop us. We're not here to ask. It's time. We're here to shatter that glass.
We made a resolution
to amend the Constitution
and ratify the ERA.
Oh. Women across the Commonwealth and country are demanding our equality without an apology.
My daughter in this picture that was taken 44 years ago, and we were on the mall in Washington, D.C. for the Equal Rights Amendment. 44 years is a long time to wait.
For these 24 words to be the law of the land for every woman and girl.
We've come a long way.
And I don't know about you, but I think that it's right on time for Virginia to finally be on the right side of history.
It's not too late. Together we will find a way. Oh, yeah.
We live in a first-class country, Madam Speaker, but so many women are treated like second-class citizens. There are so many women, including those in this room, who paved the way for women like me. And none, Madam Speaker, none of this would have been possible without the incredible fighters for equality.
ERA! ERA! Ratify the ERA! 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 Ratify the ERA!
Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
It is time to guarantee true gender equality under the United States Constitution. It is time to change our standard of equal to truly mean equal, regardless of sex.
And I want to be unequivocally clear that there is only one way to spell equality, and that is simply ERA. Thank you, Madam
Speaker. All those in favor of the resolution, that the resolution pass, vote aye. Ayes 59, nays 41, abstention 0. For the women of Virginia and the women of America, the resolution has finally passed.
letter C in the experience for campaigning in the time of disinformation and what we can do about it in real time.
Like Russian trolls? Well, we have a troll right in the White House.
Yes, we do. And he drives me crazy. Somebody needs to put like a muzzle on him. We need to get rid of him. We need to get out the vote. And campaigning will be really interfered with this disinformation. And James Madison warned us, a popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it is but a prologue to a farce or a tragedy, or perhaps both.
Monday night will give us the know-how and the tools to fight back in real time. Don't miss this session. We will close the Women's Summit experience on Tuesday, June 30th with a double-packed day. First, at 5 p.m., you won't want to miss Black Women Lead, where young women leaders will interview Senator Mamie Locke, Senator Jennifer McClellan, and Delegate Jennifer Carroll Foy.
Holy cow, I don't want to miss that. But we're almost at the end. So hold on, because the letter E is also for elections. So get on your party pants, get on your voting gear, your swag, whatever you like to wear, and come into the room at 7 p.m. for a pep rally with some congressional candidates, Senator Mark Warner, people from the Virginia Democratic Party, and well, first let's let somebody else set it up. Let's hear from Senator Tammy Duckworth. Take it away.
Hello, Women's Summit. This year, we know that winning is the only option. More than ever before, we need competence and steady leadership in the White House. We need someone with empathy who understands the struggles facing many Americans. And that's why we need to elect Joe Biden this November. You won't want to miss the finale rally on Tuesday, June 30th. Let's work together to win in 2020. Thank you for working so hard to advance the American ideas of equality and inclusion to make sure that every voice is heard. Keep up the fight.
Ooh, thank you, Senator Duckworth. We have to get busy to win. That means supporting all the Democratic candidates. Let's hear from some of them now.
I'm so proud to be participating in the Women's Summit again this year, although because of the pandemic, I guess we can't do it in person. But last year, I had great heartfelt fun talking about the badass women in my life, starting with my amazing grandmother and ending up with the terrific wife I have sitting next to me. Megan?
Listen, we need you badass women, because just like every other critical time in American history, the nation is turning to women. Over 70% of the frontline workers in this pandemic are women. Women who have had to withstand not being paid equally, women who have been fighting for the ERA and other basic policies that would guarantee us equality in America. Once again, we are stepping up and we are saving America. And so I want to make sure that when we come through on the other side of this pandemic, that women are recognized and women are appreciated and made clear that we have the value and the recognition of our contribution in America. So I appreciate everything you do, working so hard on behalf of Virginia women, but also women in America, the impressive way you worked to make sure it was such tenacity that the ERA passed. It's up to us, it always is in the end, and it's great to have allies like Don Beyer.
And I feel so fortunate to be allied with some of the most important, powerful women in the world. It's been a thrill to see Eileen Fillercorn take over as the first woman speaker of the Virginia General Assembly, which goes back to 1734. And not accidentally, I think it's the most progressive, productive General Assembly session in at least 100 years, maybe in the history of the Commonwealth. And I've been proud to be a part of the whip team for Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has led this country and certainly this Congress through this pandemic the way no one else possibly could have.
Absolutely.
It's been really fun too. We took back the House. By the way, I love being in the majority. And we're in the majority because of Abigail Spanberger and Elaine Luria and Jennifer Wexton. And the majority of those Democratic freshmen who were women. I just got a list recently of all the targets for next year. We have 19 seats we can take. I think at least 2/3 of them are women. beginning with Elise Galvin up in Alaska.
And if the Republican side of the aisle could look like the Democratic side of the aisle, we would have a majority of women in Congress. So, once this election is taking place, then we got to work on that other side.
Yeah, I wish there were a lot more Republican women, but there aren't. They're going to go from 13 down to 10, which is really, really sad. But I'm glad to be with the badass women that I'm married to, that I'm raising, that I'm the progeny of, and that I get to hang around with every day. And we will continue to do all our best, even in our humble, male status, to lift women up to where they actually belong, leading the country, leading the world.
Okay, thanks so much. Kick ass.
Hello, this is Congressman Jerry Conley, and I'm sorry we can't all be together personally today to celebrate our third Virginia Women's Summit. I've been at the others, and I wish I could be physically together with you today. But we have a lot to celebrate. Since Donald Trump was inaugurated, women have led the way. I participated with my wife and daughter in the Women's March the week of the inauguration. It was an incredible experience, and it unleashed incredible energy that's making a difference to this very day. So, the next year in Virginia, we picked up 15 seats in the House of Delegates, almost reaching parity. No one saw it coming. Most of the new members of the House of Delegates were women. Women led the way. The next year, the Democrats in the midterm elections, led by women, took back the House majority. 40 new members, most of them women. And we've made a lot of difference in putting an accountability and a check on this unbridled presidency of Donald J. Trump. The next year, women leading the way again, we recaptured both the House and the Senate in the state of Virginia. And what a difference that's made. We passed the ERA. We became the 38th state to do so. We passed reasonable gun control laws. We rolled back reproductive rights for women restrictions. We expanded voting rights for all Virginians, and we elected the first female speaker in 401-year history of the House of Delegates, previously the House of Burgess, in Virginia's history. Elections make a difference. Getting involved makes a difference. You have made a difference and will make a difference. So now we're 6 months out from the November election. We've got to make that difference really count. We have to get this man out of the White House. We've seen how incompetent and how dysfunctional this president is in the midst of the worst crisis to hit America since World War II. The worst economic collapse since the Great Depression, and the worst public health crisis since the Great Influenza of 1918. He's not up to the job. He's recommending people swallow disinfectants and trying experimental drugs that have serious side effects while the rest of America is coping with this unprecedented crisis. We need new leadership, and it's going to be led by women. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what I know you're going to do. We need to get our congressional Democrats, Mark Warner, myself, our 3 new freshmen, women members of Congress from Virginia, all reelected, and we need to put Joe Biden back in the White House, where he'll make all the difference in bringing this country back together again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Elaine Luria from Virginia's 2nd Congressional District, and it's great to join you today with Network Nova and the Virtual Women's Summit. Sorry that we can't do this year in person, but it's great to use technology to still get folks together who are energized to continue to win and elect Democrats to office here in Virginia. I was elected in 2018 in a tough district that we had to flip from red to blue, and we have the tough challenge of keeping it blue again this year. And I want to say thank you so much to Network Nova and all the grassroots groups who come together and provide us this support. The Virginia women just love working together in Congress. Myself, Abigail Spanberger, Jennifer Wexton, I think we make a great team, and we all want to be able to go back in 2020 and continue the work that we've started. So thank you for being such a big part of that, and I hope that you have a great virtual summit, and look forward to seeing you all in person when that's safe to do it again. Stay safe and stay healthy, and let's keep Virginia blue.
Hi everyone, I'm Abigail Spanberger. I am proud to represent Virginia's 7th Congressional District in Virginia. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of the work that you all do to help get committed, focused representation in our House of Delegates, in our state Senate, in our House of Representatives, in our Senate, and most importantly, in our local communities. Thank you for all of the work that you do and your commitment to the recognition that everything we care about is political. And at a time like now, we can see that there is crisis after crisis in our communities, and we need a change. We need to be focused. When we turn on the news and we see reports of 100,000 Americans dying of a pandemic, when we can't get enough tests and we can't get enough swabs and we can't get enough PPE to protect our elderly and our seniors in nursing homes, and we can't get enough PPE to protect our doctors and nurses in hospitals, like there is something wrong. When we can't get enough tests to be able to safely and uniformly, in a targeted manner, open back up our communities and know that doing so can be safely done because we have ample testing and ample contact tracing. That is an issue of politics. That is an absence of leadership, and it is a change we need to make. When we see our fellow citizens die in the streets with the knee of a police officer on their neck, that is a crisis in our community, and it starts at the top. The changes that we need to see in our country start at the top. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a voice on issues as varied as healthcare policy and broadband and the call for gun violence prevention and the affirmation that all Americans deserve the same rights, and that we need to take one step further and look to see how can we create greater equity and justice in our communities. And I'm proud to focus on issues of conservation and climate change and environmentalism in the subcommittee that I serve on, or that I chair in the House of Representatives. And I enjoy focusing on the role of the United States in the world and the fact that we continue to step away from our historical place of leadership on the world stage and what that means for us and our national security and our country. And I want to continue playing those roles. I want to continue governing and representing the people of Virginia's 7th District, but I want to do it in an America where at the very highest levels of government, we have someone as the President of the United States who will say, I will create supply chains, I will get those tests, I will put the PPE in place, and I will not rest until it's done and we save American lives. And I want a president at the highest level in the White House who will say, no American should die in the streets with a police officer's knee on his neck, and it is wrong. And I want to see an America where everyone has greater opportunity, no matter who they are or where they're from or who they love or what they look like. And so while I am running in 2018 because I want to continue what it is that I've been focused on, I also want to ensure that while I'm focusing on issues like broadband and connectivity and foreign affairs and food security and healthcare, that we have a change in the White House that makes that final step towards progress, not towards an endpoint, but that final step in our continued work towards progress, that we have a willing partner and someone who wants to see those forward steps. And so I'm grateful for all of the work that you're doing to help get committed representatives elected, to help us stay there, and this November to do the most important thing for our country, which is to ensure that we have a change in the White House. So thank you for all that you do. It will make the difference. It made the difference in 17, it made the difference in 18, it made the difference in 19, and it will make the difference in 2020. Thank you.
Hey, it's Jennifer Wexton, Member of Congress for Virginia's 10th District. It's great to be with Network Nova for this year's Women's Summit, albeit virtually. It's no exaggeration to say that Virginia has given the rest of the country a lot of hope. It started with our historic wins in 2017, flipping 15 seats in the House of Delegates, 11 of which were won by women. We followed that up with historic wins in 2018, flipping 3 of Virginia's 11 congressional districts. And Abigail, Elaine, and I have provided quite the upgrade to the delegation, if I do say so myself. We followed that up with historic wins in 2019, and as a result, Virginia's made incredible progress on gun violence prevention, equality, fair elections, and so much more. But now it's time to put an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. We need to send me, Abigail, and Elaine back to the House of Representatives. We need to send Mark Warner back to the Senate. And we need to make absolutely sure that Virginia turns out strong for Joe Biden. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it's the importance of holding the House majority. The only reason we have expanded employment insurance, paid sick leave, funding for the public health response is because of Democrats in Congress and the initiatives we push for. Winning is our only option in 2020, and Donald Trump has said that he's coming for Virginia. Organizing will definitely be different this year, but it's more important than ever. Thank you, Network Nova, for everything you've done to help me and so many others win in 2018, but now it's time to do it all over again. We've got a democracy to save, so let's get to work.
Hello, Women's Summit participants. I'm Virginia Senator Mark Warner. When I attended the summit last year, I said I would take that fan back to Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to make sure that we know we got to get stuff done. And this year, we need to make sure that we get rid of Mitch McConnell as Majority Leader. I also said that I would work with you to make sure that we would take back Virginia's House and Senate. And together, we did it. Now, I know in Virginia, we have a tendency to say every year is the most important year. But I think I can say without question, and not just because I'm running for re-election, that this year is the most important election in our lifetime. We need to make sure that we get rid of Donald Trump out of the White House, elect Joe Biden, hopefully re-elect me, elect Abigail, Jennifer, Elaine, and our other great Democratic congressional candidates, and make sure that we bring about the kind of positive change to make sure that every Virginian has the kind of equality of opportunity that our country should be about. More than ever, we've got to bring the energy I saw last year to real, meaningful change this year. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Senator Warner, for throwing down at what's at stake in this election, even though I'm not sure you really know how to throw down in the kitchen with those tuna melts. But we are fired up and ready to go. Now you have a taste of the experience. We hope that you are hungry for more. And we have room for everyone, so get the word out and invite your friends. Tickets are still available. The more the merrier.
Absolutely. Yes, please invite all your friends, get everybody in the Zoom room, make sure your butts are well, positioned, because we're going to make it as fun and exciting as possible. So we made it. What do you think?
It's been amazing. Awesome.
Amazing. I mean, 10 days, I'm exhausted. It's been something else, but we've done it for all of you, for the activists that work tirelessly every day to get this done. And so much is at stake, so much is at stake. But first, I think we need to have a big woohoo and high five. What do you say?
Absolutely.
All right, woohoo, we did it. All right, so it has been awesome to take you through the experience. You've been the best audience ever. Now that you're energized and ready to get into the fight, repeat after me. Winning is the only option. All right, let's hold those seats we won. Try to fight like hell. Go out and clean out that White House. Flips of the Senate, because, what did I say?
Winning is the only option.
It is. All right, see you in the fight.
Winning is the only option.
Winning is the only option.
We can't win if we don't run.
When we vote, we win.
So if winning is the only option, don't forget us.
Mask up, bring your hand sanitizer, and vote. Because we have to win.
This year,
Winning.
winning.
Winning is the only option.
Is the only option.
Is the only option.
Is the only option.
In 2020.
In 2020.
In 2020.
Here's the story of some badass ladies who were hanging out with It's the story of a grassroots movement who were busy organizing on their own. They were great groups working all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the ladies said let's summit, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that these groups must somehow work together. That's the way we all became the badass bunch, the badass bunch, the badass bunch. That's the way we became the badass bunch.
Daughters and sisters, mothers and wives, every woman in every walk of life.
No ceiling can stop us. We're not here to ask. It's time. We're here to shatter that glass.
We made a resolution
to amend the Constitution and ratify the ERA. Oh yeah, we can do it. 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 Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. The future is in our head.
What's it gonna take for these 24 words to be the law of the land for every woman and girl?
We've come a long way, but not far enough. And we're never, ever, ever gonna give up.
Gotta finish what we started.
It's not too late. Together we will find a way. Oh, yeah. We can do it.
The resolution passed. Vote aye. Ayes 59, nays 41, abstention 0. For the women of Virginia and the women of America, the resolution has finally